Russia war latest. UK, Greenlights strikes against Putin's forces in Russia, as Kyiv on path to NATO. UK Defence Secretary green-lighted Kyiv's use of Storm Shadow missiles for defensive strikes inside Russia. British-supplied missiles can be used by Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia, the UK has told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. UK Defence Secretary John Healey green-lighted Kyiv's use of Storm Shadow missiles for defensive strikes inside Russian territory on Wednesday. The Healey said Britain will do all we can to help Ukraine in their fight to repel Putin's invasion, but declined to get into operational arrangements. It comes as NATO members formally declared Ukraine was on an irreversible path to joining the Western military alliance. Ukraine's future is in NATO, the alliance members said in their statement. We will continue to support it on its irreversible path to full Euro-Atlantic integration, including NATO membership. Meanwhile, Norway pledged to send half a dozen of A-16 fighter jets to Ukraine from the sidelines of the NATO summit in Washington, becoming the fourth country to promise to send vital weaponry. Hungary will not support NATO becoming anti-China bloc, minister says. Hungary does not want and will not support NATO becoming an anti-China bloc, Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó told Hungary's state television while in Washington on Thursday. Speaking on the sidelines of a NATO summit, Szijjártó also said Ukraine's admission to the alliance would weaken unity within the group. It comes after NATO labeled China a decisive enabler of Putin's war in Ukraine, in the alliance's strongest rebuke of Beijing. But Beijing hit back and accused NATO of smearing the country while demanding the transatlantic alliance stay out of Asia. Record number of Chinese military planes breached Taiwan airspace. A record number of Chinese warplanes breached Taiwanese airspace as part of Beijing's military exercises amid a key NATO summit, according to Taiwanese authorities. Up to 66 Chinese aircraft were detected around the self-governing island, and 56 of them breached the median line of the Taiwan Strait, Taipei's defense ministry said. It is a single-day record for this year. China's military drills came amid a key NATO summit in Washington, where Western leaders issued their strongest-ever condemnation of Beijing for being a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine. Record number of Chinese warplanes breached Taiwan airspace. Taiwan detects 66 Chinese planes around the island in the last 24 hours. A single-day record for this year. Ukraine getting closer and closer to becoming NATO member, says Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. The NATO Secretary General has said that Ukraine is getting closer and closer to membership. He added, however, that it is too early to say when it may happen, due to the need for consensus of all allies. Member states are meeting in Washington, D.C. this week to mark the 75th anniversary of the world's biggest security organization, as Russia presses its advantage on the battlefield in Ukraine. The three-day summit will focus on ways to reassure Ukraine of NATO's enduring support and offer some hope to its war-weary citizens that their country might survive the biggest land conflict in Europe in decades. China tells NATO not to create chaos in Asia. China accused NATO on Thursday of seeking security at the expense of others, and told the alliance not to bring the same chaos to Asia. The statement by a foreign ministry spokesperson came a day after NATO labeled China a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine. NATO hyping up China's responsibility on the Ukraine issue is unreasonable and has sinister motives, spokesperson Lin Jian said at a daily briefing. He maintained that China has a fair and objective stance on the Ukraine issue.